Today I want to discuss the Batman problem and how it relates to Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the psychology of the fandom of Batman, previous situations in which what happened in Suicide Squad happened to other beloved characters and how that was treated. How that seemingly has been ignored by Rocksteady, and I say that with the utmost respect, and when you get further in the video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And on top of all of that, I want to throw out my ideas for how Batman could have been treated and the fans wouldn't have been upset. Again, I say that with the utmost respect. Moving forward in this video, I do want to let you know that I actually enjoyed Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and if you want to see those videos, click the link down below. But let's get into the crux of our video, the Batman problem. So Batman is a hero that a lot of people straight up self-identify with, or they've grown up with, or both of those things. Batman is a hero that has been around since the 40s, and he's gone through various iterations, almost being shut down back in around the 60s, 70s time frame, when it was revitalized by making it into a cartoony goof with Adam West. Still one of my favorite portrayals of Batman. When Adam West did super well, there was an attempt at rebooting Batman in a much darker tone with the Batman '89 movie and the Frank Miller's Batman, which is notorious for being a dark and moody Batman. That version of Batman seemingly stuck, and it did so well that they decided to move forward with what is known as the Batman the Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series was Kevin Conroy, as far as I know, his first role as Batman. And then that continued from the 90s all the way until not Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, but apparently he's going to be in the Crisis on Infinite Earths movies coming out very soon. So that means that this portrayal has gone from the 90s all the way to 2024. Batman the Animated Series led into an entire integrated DC animated universe, which featured Superman, Batman, the Unlimited Adventures, or the additional event. I've always considered it the same series, but it just continues onward involving Batgirl and Tim and all of them. That moved forward with more Batman cartoons. And then when you would assume Batman would just be done and retired and the show shut down, it then continued on with the future of Batman and Batman Beyond. And then that series continued the exact same plot line that had existed. Following that, Batman's had a very large number of rebooted television shows that you probably don't even know exist, because I didn't know half of them existed. Because what happens is they come out, they don't promote them, you don't know they exist, and then they keep going. Batman has also had continual movies, including one of the greatest trilogies ever, Christian Bale's Batman. Okay? I'm going somewhere with this, don't worry. Then, Batman proceeded to move forward with yet another reboot of having various Batman cartoons. We had various Batman portrayals in action, such as Robert Pattinson's Batman. He went ahead and portrayed Batman, and even Ben Affleck portrayed Batman in a move that all of us, myself included, called the stupidest decision ever made, and then we all revered him as one of the best portrayals of Batman. On top of all of this, okay, all of this, let's say that you somehow never got attached to Batman as a character. You avoided the 1960s, 70s Adam West show. You avoided the '89 movie. You avoided the animated series. You never got a part of the Justice League show. You've never read a Batman comic. Let's say you avoided every other Batman portrayal. You chose to then do Batman the Arkham Knight, Batman the Arkham City, Batman the Arkham Asylum. I've said all those weird, and I named them all backwards. But you know what I'm saying. It's Batman the Arkhamverse is what I'm getting at. On top of that, I'm not even talking about transmedia stuff involving Batman, such as manga, such as toys, such as Legos, such as the Lego Batman movie. You know, that was an amazing movie. I love that. Probably one of my favorite portrayals of Batman. What I'm getting at is the examples I'm about to give you of other companies attempting the same concept that they did with Batman Arkham is Batman is far above and beyond anything any other example I give you today is going to be. Batman is a character that exists in almost every form of media, with various iterations and versions of Batman. And most of those versions of Batman are so complete that you can have your Batman in your head. Which brings us to Batman Arkhamverse, the core of our discussion here. Because regardless of understanding Batman on a different level, because you watched his back get broken by Bane in the 1990s, you watched him get defeated by Superman in the 1980s, you watched him become old, decrepit, and have to train Terry in the 2000s, you watched Christian Bale give up being Batman in the 2010s, the earlies, and then you watched him start it all over again as Robert Pattinson. Some people just relate to Batman the Arkhamverse. And the Arkhamverse, for those who don't know, goes way beyond the 3 games made by Rocksteady and the additional game made by Montreal. That franchise goes into about 80 different comic books, 2 mobile games, an entire cartoon animated series that came out, not series, movie that came out, then got removed from canon. The Arkhamverse is something huge. It's something sprawling, and a lot of people relate and connect with that. Now, why would people relate and connect with the Arkhamverse? Why would they relate and connect with Batman the Animated Series? Why are there people that still talk about their nostalgia? I did an entire video related to that topic, so we're not going to go super deep into the psychology of it here, but if you are curious on that psychology, I did a video of, is Palworld really ripping off Pokemon, and why do people feel the need to defend it? The title's shorter, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. It's on my new channel, Benny Has a Problem, where we just do more videos like this, but I like to explore my entry-level psychology opinions on what's going on with everything. That link will be down below, but so that you have a core understanding of what I'm talking about, it's a fandom problem. Kind of. Mildly. There's actually a lot deeper issues when it comes to Batman. So the idea behind a fandom is that for some reason, someone decided to relate to something. It's a tribalism effort. The argument I make over there is that basically when you are younger, you find things to relate to different people about. You go to high school, you go to middle school, you go to elementary school. It's hard to make friends. It's hard to feel accepted. It's hard to not feel like you're just getting made fun of and pushed over to the side. Because of this, you find things that you enjoy and you like, and you use that as an entry point to make other friends. Those friends might only be your Pokemon friend or your Batman the Animated Series friend, but it does give you something to talk to people about, which leads to other conversations, which leads to you having good memories of getting to know people and having this as a relatable point, which basically boils down to the nostalgia factor. How many of you out there remember something from your childhood, such as the Arkham games? Because, you know, think about it, the first Arkham game came out like 10 years ago, so many people are in their early 20s at a minimum at this point, most in the 25-30 range. A lot of the comments were that having Suicide Squad kills the Justice League killed your childhood. Now, I find that statement to be kind of stupid and kind of like, no one went back in time and changed your opinion of what it was at that time, but I do understand the idea of you're killing the thing that I identified with as a kid, because that was the thing that I spoke to my friends about, and we had a lot of great pastimes. But, you know, when you're trying to make an argument on Twitter, you really can't say all that. You just got to say you killed my childhood, and then sane people go, what are you talking about? And a whole argument starts. It's how Twitter works. I mean, anyway, people relate with Batman on a different level because Batman is in the movies, he's in the comics, he's in the TV show. So if you are that person who really didn't get to know Batman that well, but you played the Arkham games, for a lot of people, that allowed them to connect with different things in general. Talk to people about Batman because maybe someone watched the Christian Bale movies and you played the Arkhamverse, so you guys can relate on Batman on that level. Maybe somebody such as your father was a fan of Batman and you played the Arkham games and it gave you a nice way to chat with your dad, which is going to bring this around to myself. My dad and I have always had Batman as a bonding point. When I was at my youngest, I would watch Batman Adam West show with my dad in the middle of the day. You know, when you're so young, you don't even go to school at that point because you're just like sitting at home. He would make terrible hot dogs, and I give him crap about it to this day. Who ruins a hot dog, Dad? How do you do it? You're not even cooking them well. You're putting them in boiling water, but somehow you ruin them. I don't know what you were doing. He also made hockey puck burgers. He didn't know how to flatten the patty, so it was just like a ball of meat between bread. Like, I don't know how I'm alive at this point. This man did not know how to cook. But when I was younger, we related and connected over Batman. I always had different interests than my dad. Like, we never connected on many other levels. We would connect over cars and we would connect over Batman. And that was the biggest moment I have as a kid. So for me, it was the Adam West Batman and then the animated series and then Batman Beyond. And then my dad and I kind of went and drifted apart. because I got older and I had other things going on. But when Batman Arkham came out, that gave us another way to chat and talk about what's going on with one of our favorite heroes. A lot of people like to comment on my tattoos, and they think my tattoos are goofy and funny and stupid. And they are. But each of these tattoos has a purpose. When I picked out all of my tattoos, the idea was twofold. One, I'm in the geek sphere. I'm doing Comicstorian. Why don't I get fun tattoos that will relate to things that I find important to me in that sphere? But on the second note, I wanted to get tattoos that also gave me great memories from my childhood or things that I would connect to. There's a tattoo of Pokemon on my leg, and that tattoo for Pokemon is twofold. One, I enjoy Pokemon, and two, Pokemon is the first time that I learned the value of $1. And maybe I'll tell that story at some point, but that's not what this video is about. But on this arm right here is Batman. Batman is on my arm right here. And that's because of the relationship I have with my father. Yes, it's a cover-up of a terrible monster tattoo, but I chose Batman because it's related to my dad. What I'm getting at is there is that nostalgia factor. You relate to things in your past, and we find ways to make it our identity. One of the guys in our friend group here, the ongoing joke is that his entire identity is Pokemon. It's not actually, but he does get a lot of Pokemon shit, tell you that. Now the question is, okay, Benny, I get what you're saying. People are relating to Batman on different levels. They're either relating to the struggles he went through, which I find a little funny because, you know, when you say that at face value, it's like, Batman, I relate to your struggles as a billionaire who lost his parents and became Batman. But I also understand the concept that you can take things out of that. I don't think anyone's sitting around being like, both of my parents were shot by Joe Chill, and I need to become a guy in a leather suit. Like, I don't think that's the case. But people can relate to the struggles of getting over grief, dealing with having to cope with dealing with everything yourself, having to lean on others to help you through these plights. People can relate with that. So they relate on that level, and then they relate on the nostalgia fandom factor as well. So what I'm getting at here is while I enjoy what Rocksteady did, and they've come out and they've said multiple times that they've worked with Kevin Conroy and they have a great understanding of Batman, I believe them. I actually do. I think Rocksteady 100% understands Batman. They understand how he needed to handle that situation. They understand how... Wait, don't click off the video yet. They understand how he needed to handle the situation. They understood how Harley needed to overcome her past trauma from Batman to get to the death of Batman. All of that. What I don't think Rocksteady understands is the Batman fans. That's what they don't understand, in my opinion. I think they've got the idea of Kevin Conroy's Batman down. They've got the idea of Arkham City Batman down. They've got that. It's not the same people that wrote the Arkham trilogy, but you work at the company. You have all the notes. You have people you can contact. Many of them have put out that they worked directly with Kevin Conroy, and he approved everything that they did. I don't think they understand the fandom. The rabid fans that want Batman to always overcome everything. Because when you relate to Batman, you don't want to see Batman dead and dying. Those stories are few and far between when it comes to comics. You want to see Batman get his ass handed to him, and then you want to see him overcome everything. And the reason for that is simple, because if you're relating to his decades-long run with various iterations, and you see yourself in Batman, even on a level of, well, Batman relies on friends, I should do the same thing. Batman relies on his knowledge, I should gain more knowledge. You don't want to see Batman fail. And I think that's part of the issue. There's a lot of people going around being like, Superman gets dunked on every week. Batman fans get dunked on once and they're all freaking out. And you're not wrong. But Superman's a hard character to relate to. And I think that's where a lot of the fandom arguments and issues come in. A situation like this actually happened years ago. And a lot of people don't remember it because there's like 4 of us left in the Xbox community. You see, what happened is the mistreatment of our homeboy, Master Chief. The original 3 games came out and they told an incredible story about what Master Chief is, where he comes from, and his whole entire thing. The argument about the show and you seeing yourself as Master Chief doesn't really apply here, but the argument of the whole point of Master Chief was that you could see yourself in him does apply. Because it's the same argument that people have with Batman. I don't actually see myself as a 7-foot-tall Spartan about to go kick in an alien, but I would love to think that if aliens invaded, I would grab the nearest gun and run out there and be like, on me, Spartans! Roar! Yeah, of course. I mean, come on. Bungie decided to finish their trilogy with an origin story, Halo Reach. And it was kind of their swan song of, like, incredible games. Us Destiny fans have felt betrayed for the last 10 years, but that's another argument in itself. You see, what happened is, Halo wasn't owned by Bungie. Halo was owned by Microsoft. So when Bungie bowed out, did their swan song, Microsoft wanted to keep the series going. They handed the franchise over to 343 Studios, or 343 Industries. It's one of those names. 343 is what we refer to him in the Halo fandom. And what 343 did was misunderstand people's connection to Master Chief. And they said that. So 4 came out, lackluster reviews, no one gave a shit. 343 had a great idea. 343 had a... If you're just listening to this, I just did a funny face and shook my head. Just so you know. It's like the audio version of this on-screen video. That's what I'm helping you here with. It's in the accessibility options on Comic Storian. Check it out. When we got to 5, they decided to introduce us to a brand new character. John Locke. John Locke was an incredible soldier. Not quite as incredible as Master Chief, but he works for, like, criminal investigations. And he, like, tracks down Spartans that have done fucked up. That's what he does. And Master Chief's a villain. Sound familiar? You see, in Halo 5, the concept was that you were going to be John Locke chasing down Master Chief. Because Master Chief broke the law. Master Chief was a villain. And that was the hyped thing. Come play our game. Come hunt down the guy from the previous 4 games that all of you relate with and you have nostalgia to and you all want to be one day a 7-foot-tall Spartan with a giant gun. The fans didn't like that back then. To this day, I think some people say the gameplay was good, but the story. The fans didn't like the idea of Master Chief being the villain. And everyone told 343. And 343 was like, we got this. We understand Halo. We understand what you want. We're going to make it happen. The game came out and you played as John Locke and a brand new Spartan team, which made you go, what? Why? And you chased down Master Chief, the villain of the story. Turns out Master Chief wasn't really a villain. Master Chief was trying to, if I remember correctly, and I know some Halo fans are going to be like, no, here is what the true meaning of Halo 5 was. But I'm pretty sure the overall plot was Master Chief was trying to get Cortana, save her or get her away from something. Cortana is his like AI sidekick thing that's in his head. But basically she was being corrupted or stolen or something and he was getting her away and that's why he was breaking the law. That's what it boils down to. And 343 had it in their heads that they were like, okay, no, wait. You're going to love this because the reason he broke the law is to save Cortana. But that didn't change the fact we had an entire game where you were hunting down Master Chief. And that's not Halo. I remember there being interviews as we were getting closer to the middle ground between Halo 5 and Halo 6. And 343 in the interviews stated, we didn't understand the fans. We thought we knew Halo, but we didn't understand that people related so closely to Master Chief. That's the situation I feel we're in with the new Rocksteady developers. And once again, this is my entire opinion. I have a ton of respect for these individuals. But that's the situation I feel like we're in with these individuals. The Batman problem is that the fandom has in their heads their own way that Batman needs to be treated and handled. The fact that we go to the argument of disrespect. Halo didn't go, I don't remember going in the argument of disrespect. Halo went in the argument of like, we just don't want this. We just want to be Master Chief. You know, and I see that argument. I just want to be the Justice League. Who the hell wants to be Captain Boomerang? I do. Captain Boomerang's fun. He's my guy. He's my main. I throw the boomerang. Anyway, that's what the Batman situation reminds me of. The Halo situation, where 343 came out and said that they did not understand people relating to Master Chief. Now, that sounds insane, doesn't it? Like, if I say Halo, your first thought process is going to be Master Chief. How could anyone write an entire plot under the premise people just wanted to be Spartans? They didn't care about Master Chief. Because that's what 343 was saying. People just wanted to be a Spartan, so we're going to make a cool new Spartan, and they're going to chase Master Chief. Halo is Master Chief. There is no middle ground here, okay? I know they want this to be a huge franchise where we drive warthogs as regular soldiers and do stupid stuff like that. It's not working. Why do you think Halo Infinity did so much better? Halo 6 is Master Chief. I mean, even Halo 6 is getting flack because they decided to turn one of the most lovable characters in video game history, Cortana, into the villain of the story and then just remake her. Like, okay, cool. You still don't get it. But that brings us to the Batman problem and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I don't think Batman was handled improperly. I feel he was underutilized. That's my opinion. I feel like that fight should have been so much better. There should have been so much more Batman and whatever. But the problem is with the Batman problem in kills the Justice League. That's the words. They're in there. I feel like Rocksteady had a great story they wanted to tell, and that story was the group of Suicide Squad coming together and discovering that even though they're the dirtiest villains in the world, they can be heroes, and they need to work together as a team, as a family, and learn what that means from the Justice League and the Bat family and the Titans and everything else in the DC universe. That was the story they wanted to tell. To get us to buy the game and move into that direction, that was why they decided to have us kill the Justice League. And I think the game could have worked entirely well, and we could have killed Batman with my small tweaks to the plot, but we'll get to that in 1 second. They just didn't understand what the fandom backlash was going to be to not only Batman being killed by Harley Quinn, but Batman from the Arkhamverse being killed by Harley Quinn. Batman in the Arkhamverse is a lot of people's Batman, just like Christian Bale is, just like animated series is. So they took that Batman and then made him evil and then killed him. And that isn't bad. I don't think that's bad, but I do think that's a misunderstanding of how the fans were going to react to Batman from Arkhamverse. Now, my general idea at this point is I have a few tweaks that I would have made to the story that wouldn't have actually changed the story too drastically, but I think would have made the fans better. And I would love to hear your opinions down below. But before we go into that, I do want to say, again, I enjoyed the story. I have respect for what they chose to do, and it was kind of ballsy of them to even go this route to begin with. Now, the changes I would have made if we were going to go lightly with the changes, simple fix. When you arrive at Metropolis, Batman's not infected. Batman takes a role very similar to The Flash, where he's the hero in the beginning, and he's the one that starts giving you the plans and devices that you need to battle against the Justice League. At some point in the story, he can then be converted to our villain that we're going to be fighting, so that we go with the moniker, Kill the Justice League. Then, towards the end, in the final scene where Superman shows up and Harley kills him, Harley doesn't kill Batman. She preps to kill him. Everything gets said and done. The whole monologue, everything we needed to have happen so that Harley can have that like button up on her story. But then in my version of the story, Superman would have blasted the gun out of Harley's hand with his heat vision and then went to kill Harley, and Batman, in a final moment of like fighting Brainiac's control, leapt in the way and went down heroically. It actually would have played into the plot because basically, from what we understand, it took them almost 3 to 4 weeks to convert the Justice League. Hence why Flash was able to be reached through the lasso in the game. A more drastic change to the overall storyline would have been just put Batman in Wonder Woman's role. To have this one hero that is running around helping you out, don't make it Wonder Woman, make it Batman. If you want to keep Wonder Woman in that role, make her do it with Batman. Why not have 2 Leaguers and then just grab any one of the hundreds of other Justice Leaguers to fill Batman's role? What if we were fighting Green Arrow? So you just put Green Arrow in Batman's role, you put Batman with Wonder Woman, and we get that entire story there. But that would be a drastic overhaul to the plot because you would have to put Batman in so much stuff, so that would be a big overhaul to the plot. But those are my 2 ideas on how we could have easily changed it, and I don't think the fandom would have freaked out as badly because Batman would have had his heroic death. I think that's the issue. People wanted him to have a heroic demise. Even if he was villainous, a heroic ending. Saving someone, doing something, being the one that makes it so the Suicide Squad can finish Brainiac and end the game. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I do want to acknowledge one thing because I feel like a whole bunch of you are going to say it down below. We've gotten so many leaks, which I honestly, in my opinion, I think Rocksteady's leaking this. Like, there's way too many leaks to be coming out for, like, we found another data log. I mean, there was also the misread line by Brainiac that revealed one of the DLC characters. I think at this point, Rocksteady's damage control is leak the story because Suicide Squad ends on a good note for the Suicide Squad. It does. They've become a family almost. They're their own team. They're willing to work together. They've all overcome small traumas along the way. Cool. The rest of the live service story from the leak states that we're getting Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, and Superman all back. They're all coming back. And it looks like not multiverse versions. It looks like somebody's theory might be true. Aha! Now, I still don't have confirmation my theory is true, but the leaked audio logs is Lois basically stating that it is, in fact, that Green Lantern who's back, and that he is now in recovery from the treatment of Brainiac. So I'd love to say that my theory, which is also linked down below, is a true theory. And if it is, everyone owes me a cookie. Y'all owe me a cookie. It's cheap. It's easy. Don't buy it at Starbucks. You ever buy a cookie at Starbucks? Holy crap. It's like $3. It's like 500 calories. It's insane. Why would you do that? But anyway, that's where we are with the video. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Batman problem in the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is a misunderstanding of the fandom? Or do you still want to stick to the guns of straight up, no, it's disrespectful? You know, whatever you want to do. Let me know in the comments down below. Please check out our new channel, Benny's Got a Problem, which is this style of video, but on other topics. Our first two ones are Pal World versus Pokemon and Is Twitch Dying? And right now, I'm downloading AI Girlfriends to discuss, is it worth it? I don't know. And don't forget to check out our Gaming Lore channel, where we do more stuff involving video game related stuff. Thank you so much for your continued support. I'll see you next time right here.